Hello, my name's James Martin. The movie I chose for my final video review is my favorite movie of all time, Spirited Away, made by the Studio Ghibli Film Company and directed by Miyazaki. The film follows the crazy adventure of a 10-year-old Chihiro as she gets lost on her way to moving into a new home with her parents. The movie starts this off with a light-hearted car ride. Chihiro is a bit whiny and unhappy about the move. As the new house comes into sight, though, they accidentally make a wrong turn that turns into a dirt road that leads them down a tunnel leading to an abandoned theme park. Throughout this scene and in the following scenes until they reach the island where the spirits are, Chihiro wants to just go back to the car and head back where they came, while her parents are fascinated by the abandoned theme park and seem to be in no hurry to get to the new home. After walking through the theme park for some time, Chihiro's parents start smelling food coming from somewhere, and they follow the scent. They find a massive buffet just sitting in the middle of a huge outdoor restaurant market. There's tons of food everywhere, still warm, yet there are no people seen in sight. This does not alarm Chihiro's parents as they run up to the food and immediately start eating it. Chihiro whines to her parents that she wishes to leave, but they ignore her and continue eating like monsters. Chihiro decides to wander off on her own and investigate the town. While she is wandering alone, she meets the next main character, Haku. He tells her to leave this place and never come back, as and he's extremely alarmed to see her. Chihiro runs away in fear and gets back to her parents, but to her surprise, her parents have turned into giant pigs and are devouring tons of food. She runs away in a panic, frightened state by her pig parents. She makes her way far from her parents and sees a riverboat coming in to dock at a nearby port. This is where the movie makes a turn for the worse for Chihiro, but becomes insanely vivid color-wise. Day has become night, and all the lights in the town have been lit and look beautiful. The riverboat lands, and a big crowd of ghost costume people come out in different various paper masks, outfits, or just zany characters. Haku runs into Chihiro again and tells her she should not be here and decides to help her. He takes her to the massive bathhouse that lodges many of the spirits that come to this place at night. Once they get to the bathhouse, Haku tells Chihiro to find Kamaji, the boiler man, and beg him to give her a job. In order to stay within this spirit realm, she must get a job at the bathhouse, or else Yubaba, the old witch who rules the bathhouse, will turn her into an animal like her parents. The bathhouse in Spirited Away is a beautiful sight, many stories tall with an oriental Japanese look. It's surrounded by water on its own little island with lights abound to give it a beautiful look at night. It's honestly a sight to be seen in the movie and is quite awing. Chihiro follows Haku's directions to the boiler room and reaches Kamaji, an 8-armed man controlling massive machinery with the help of little small spider-looking things called soot balls. Kamaji refuses to give Chihiro a job. The two are eventually interrupted by a young woman who comes down to feed Kamaji and the soot balls. The woman is shocked to see Chihiro, but is willing to help her and give her a job cleaning the inside of the bathhouse. This decision is not up to her, unfortunately, though, and they must go see the bathhouse boss, Yubaba, who will hopefully give the job to Chihiro. Together, Chihiro and her newly found friend Lin take 3 elevators to the top floor where Yubaba's room is at. The scene here is quite eerie as Chihiro makes her way into Yubaba's room. Before she can even get through the doorway, though, she is pulled through the air into Yubaba's room, almost like a force pull from Star Wars. Yubaba denies her time and time again until eventually giving in after her baby starts crying in the next room due to Chihiro's constant yelling of a job. The only catches she says that she will give Chihiro is the most difficult job she's got and to work her until her last breath. In order to change Chihiro's identity into the spirit realm, Yubaba takes away her name, Chihiro, and replaces it with the name Sen. With her newly found name, Sen now must find a job in the bathhouse, but none of the other workers want her in their department. Her friend Lin eventually comes in and takes her into the cleaning department with her other spirit ladies. Eventually, in the movie, spirits start coming into the bathhouse, and Sen and the other workers have to accommodate them. The movie takes a turn for the worse when a stink spirit comes into the bathhouse. The way in which Miyazaki was able to draw this character is truly defying. It looks like a ball of smelly slime and makes your skin crawl without even having to smell it for yourself. Sen is given the task to clean this spirit and ultimately cleanse it from the bathhouse. After a long battle inside a massive bathroom, Sen is able to remove the gunk from the trash spirit's body and release it. She is praised for this by Yubaba, for this act gained the bathhouse much money. The house is run off of gold, and the patrons that come in, they pay with gold nuggets. Eventually in the movie, my favorite character comes out, which is named No Face. No Face is a mysterious spirit with no name, or at least that's what they thought at first until they revealed he was an evil spirit hiding behind a mask. The spirit befriends Sen in the film and tries to offer her gold. For some reason, this spirit is able to produce unlimited gold out of thin air. No Face becomes obsessed with Sen. While Sen is focused, No Face becomes obsessed with Sen, while Sen is focused on finding her parents with the help of Haku. As the story progresses, the spirit No Face grows in size as it continues to eat extravagant food and dispense gold to many workers. When No Face tries to offer Sen gold, though, she denies it, having no interest in the gold. This angers No Face and causes him to go into a fit of rage and start eating patrons at the bathhouse. This is where the climax happens in the movie, and a massive chase ensues as No Face tries to devour Sen for not accepting his gold. As the movie goes on, Sen must go through many different trials and tribulations in order to get the end goal of finding her parents. Yubaba, the headmaster, gives her many different tasks in order to try to make her quit the job, and ultimately fail at finding her parents. Sen does not let this discourage her and continues to move on and let the unrelenting amount of tasks discourage her from the main goal. Eventually, the No-Face spirit is calmed down by Sen, who evicts him from the bathhouse, claiming that the bathhouse is making him crazy. No-Face listens to her and follows her around for the rest of the movie as a friendly viewer. The mood changes from No-Face being a terrorizing monster into a calming and peaceful friend. In this part of the movie, Sen and No-Face go on a train right outside the bathhouse to go find Zeniba, Yubaba's identical sister who could possibly aid Sen in finding her parents. When she meets Zeniba, she tells Sen that in order to find her parents, she must remember where she first met Haku. According to the movie, Chikiro and Haku have met in real life, but they do not recognize each other in the spirit realm, nor do they know Haku's true name, for it was taken from him once he began working at the bathhouse. Later on, after a massive battle with Yubaba and Haku, Sen is finally able to remember Haku's name, which was the Kahoka River. And remembering his name, this not only aids Chikiro in being able to recognize her parents now, but it also releases Haku from the bounds of the bathhouse. Now that he remembers his name and what he was in real life, he is freed from the spirit realm and able to move on in the next journey of the afterlife. Finally, after all of these trials and tribulations have been met, the final test must be given to Chikiro in order for her to find her parents. This final test is to pick her parents from a crowd of pigs, and all the pigs look identical. With the power of discovering Haku's true identity, Sen was able to pick out her parents from this crowd of pigs, although Yubaba played another trick here in having none of the pigs actually be her parents. Sen was able to distinguish that none of the pigs were her parents and that they were all imposters. After discovering the truth, everybody cheers for Chikiro as they all wanted her to succeed in the end. Chikiro then runs back to her parents and joins them near the tunnel mouth where they first entered. They are fine and have no memory at all of what happened. They actually scold Chikiro for running off on her own. How ironic is that? When they finally get to the car, it's dusty and covered with leaves, showing what actually just happened did actually just happen. It was not just a dream or fantasy from Chikiro. There was evidence to show time had passed, and a fairly decent amount of time at that. Me personally, I love Studio Ghibli films. They all capture a childlike essence and bring me back to a feeling I would get when watching movies as a child. The art style is calming and sometimes even more beautiful than real life. There is a certain feel that goes with every Studio Ghibli film. I don't know how to put it into words. The best way I could explain it is that of Disney films. It seems to me that Disney films, especially classic hand-drawn Disney films, have a certain feel to them and a style that is just heartwarming and keeps you coming back for more. I like to think of Studio Ghibli films as the Japanese Disney company. Every movie leaves me a lasting memory and great childlike happiness once it's finished. Spirited Away is truly one of my favorite films of all time. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about my favorite film. If you haven't seen it for yourself, I highly recommend it. It's also great for kids and keeps them encapsulated in the movie for the entire time from my experience. Thank you for a great semester, and I hope again to have you in one of my future classes. Thank you. Goodbye.